I'm Thomas Cole, your host. Tonight on The Final Word, we're going to talk about nonprofits. And are they really nonprofits? I mean, when you have that much money, you got to wonder, it's going somewhere. And so, here's my story. What about these millionaires? What about these local Montecito millionaires who make their millions across America using capitalism and oil and infrastructure, highways and buildings and cars and trucks to make their millions? These same millionaires who've made so much from capitalism, from our workers, from our infrastructure, oil production, roads, everything that American taxpayers pays for. Once they arrive here in Montecito, they start donating to nonprofits like Fund for Santa Barbara. And the Fund for Santa Barbara gives to other nonprofits like Just Communities. Now that may all seem well and good, but let's look into the details. In Santa Barbara, there are 2,441 nonprofits right now. That's a lot of nonprofits, just in Santa Barbara. You'd think that would be for the whole nation, but no. Santa Barbara. And those nonprofits bring in $7.1 billion a year, every year. And they have assets of $12 billion. Now the whole county runs on 1/10 of that. The whole county runs on 1.2 billion. These nonprofits have 12 billion. Now these titans of industry, these masters of commerce, are now turned into weasels of wokeism, patsies of progressivism, and saps for socialism. Isn't this the new church tithing? You must give to the woke 501C3 nonprofit if you want to be forgiven for being rich. I wish I had that kind of a problem. Now, our local rich are living the high life with no urban strife. Once ensconced in our safe and temperate community, they refuse to support America First values, refuse to support family values, turning their cashmere sweater backs on common sense business values that made them rich. All to be woke and get invited to the right parties and events. Events honoring communists, socialists, and other race-baiting activists as pillars of our community. Our imported rich capitalists support the Fund for Santa Barbara to the tune of $4 million a year. And they also support thousands of other nonprofits that push progressive causes, anti-energy causes, anti-building causes, anti-America causes, and causes like sending hired kids into college board meetings to disrupt, yell, and menace the community, and hired kids to march through the streets and camp out in front of the police station and yell at the police. Oh yes, we saw all that in the Summer of Love 2020. Now, from their website, the Fund for Santa Barbara, and sorry I'm picking on you, but you're an easy target. The Fund for Santa Barbara is involved with, quote, advancing progressive change by strengthening movements for economic, environmental, political, racial, and social justice, all of which are a concealed way of supporting just communities, race training, anti-Christian bias, anti-energy bias, anti-business bias, and basically a whole lot of communism. So, would the rich really believe all this if they were confronted with the Just Communities race oppression chart? Right here. And in the final analysis, dear rich people, is this how you made your fortunes? By cowering and kowtowing to the communists? I don't think so. Rich people, be strong, be brave, and be great. Support those beliefs that made you great, and we will still throw nice parties for you. And that's the final word. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 501c3's, and those are nonprofits that there are 2,440 of in Santa Barbara. And each one of these nonprofits is signed up with the IRS, and they can take money in, and the people who donate get a partial write-off. It's not a complete write-off, it's more like in the 20-30% they can write it off. But those 501c3's, like Santa Barbara Fund and like Just Communities, they have to be sure that they don't do certain things. Now, one of them is you can't just benefit yourself. You can't pay yourself a huge wage and just say, I'm taking all this money and giving myself a big fat paycheck. Although you can give yourself a paycheck. You can't do lobbying. You can't take your money that you've gotten from donors and give it to a political campaign or lobby for particular views. You cannot have that money used for political campaign activity. And you have obligations of reporting, and I'm just reading through this here. So basically you can't give the money to a political organization. But this is the problem. Even though you can't donate to a political campaign, you can push for issues that your political favorite candidate is also pushing for. And so, for instance, here we have a headline from The Independent. SCAN receives a highly competitive grant from the Fund for Santa Barbara. SCAN is a group of community activists, came together to have a consensus that there were organizations that needed to get together. These are activists working on a wide range of progressive causes. And so what happens is the money comes in to Santa Barbara Foundation, or the Fund for Santa Barbara, and then it goes to SCAN. And then SCAN pushes for progressive causes, which in this case, from SCAN's own website, they are interested in building bridges between environmental and social justice organizations. They also want to oppose dangerous oil extraction projects. And they want to thank the Fund for Santa Barbara for supporting this important work. So even though they're not giving money directly to a candidate, what they're doing is giving money to all the causes that, for instance, Salud Carbajal would be interested in. And so what happens is you get a backdoor funding for everything on the left. And if you think it's not a lot, like I say, just in Santa Barbara alone, $7 billion a year goes into these nonprofits. And it all goes out somewhere. And a lot of it goes out to these causes that are interested in shutting down production, shutting down businesses, keeping the county locked in a mire of non-growth, and above all, getting in candidates who will protect the pension plans and the wages and the school plans of the entrenched bureaucracy. And so what we have is $7 billion going to that cause. And then on the other side of the political spectrum, we have what? Is there one organization? Oh, wait a minute, I thought of one. YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, the Reagan Center. Now, they are a 501c3 also. They can collect money, and they do collect money, to put forward their views of conservatism and to produce that view and to forward that view into schools, into young persons' minds. And so we have one alternative to the Fund for Santa Barbara. And so that is a little lopsided, but it's something. It's a start. Perhaps YAF can expand their donor base. They could certainly use $7 billion. That would do quite a bit of expansion. I have one more thing here to read about the Fund for Santa Barbara. Let's go back for a second. Here we have Jane Fonda expressed appreciation to the fund, whose work she noted, has never been more necessary than now. She wants to thank Mickey Flax for her tireless effort, and she wants to thank Dick Flax for his effort and to establish social housing fund and housing justice efforts in the region. Also longtime Fund for Santa Barbara donor and supporter, Senator Hannah Beth Jackson. And at this meeting, where these people were all speaking, they gathered $60,000 in an hour for the Fund for Santa Barbara. And Senator Jackson lauded the Fund for Santa Barbara for the critically important work it does, and noted how in current times, getting progressive values out there and assuring that the world will be a better place is a greater challenge than ever before. And just to make a quick mention, Dick Flax, who they were lauding at this meeting, is the founder of SDS, Students. Now, Dick Flax is a professor at UCSB. And so what I'm showing here is that the basic bottom line for many of these groups that the Fund for Santa Barbara donates to are strict Marxists. And they're interested in shutting down America as we have known and instituting a new America based on division, on racial hatred, on class warfare. These are all the classic sinews of Marxism. So it's something to look at and something to think about when that side has 7 billion and the conservative side has probably 10 million coming into YAF in this county. So that's a little look at those issues on 501c3s and how they all work.